Well, hello. I'm driving on Highway 12, and we're going to turn off on a gravel road, and we're going to see one of those kind of driving conditions that I usually avoid. But I was headed somewhere, and I was out there. I'm just like, really? So I put up with it. It's a little white out. This is just after our second blizzard of the spring, as you have in North Dakota. So what I want to talk about is furries. Now, don't get up and run away yet. I've got a much larger topic in mind. But, I'll just be honest. I don't get furries. It's just not a culture I know anything about. I'm not a furry. I've never cared much about furries. I didn't even know I needed to care. I'm just a boring middle-aged man who lives in North Dakota and just never cared about furries. And yet here I am doing a video that's related, but not about furries. Because it's actually part of a much larger topic. So, I had kind of a rough end of school. There were some things happened in my life that just really threw me for a loop. I don't want to go into detail, but one of my parts of my therapy for myself was a 1-week hiatus from the news. During that hiatus, I attended the Governor's Summit on Innovative Education in Dickinson, North Dakota, which is my closest city. It was the first such summit west of the Missouri River, so I was excited, because, in this state, the only thing that happens west of the Missouri is collecting tax money off of the oil. Nobody wants to come out here unless it's in Medora. But I don't want to get into the details there because that's not part of the part of this whole topic. But anyway, while I was there, I purchased a copy of the Dickinson Press, which turned out to be a week old, and hence we get this video. Now, to keep my vow of a week off of news, I had to wait until Sunday that week to read it. And I found an article within, which is linked down below. I can't remember if I put footnotes in the video or not. They're not there yet, if I did. But anyway, it included the Dickinson School District publicly claiming that they don't have litter boxes in their restrooms. Yeah. What? So, cats are fun. I like other people's cats. My brother even became a cat person, which surprised me if you knew him when he was younger. So, cats poop and pee in litter boxes and then let their human companions scoop that junk out. But they walk in it and ew. But that's a cat instinct, so whatever. Does that work with humans? No. Let me tell you just a little bit about the boys. Yeah, we're going to talk about the boys' bathroom now. Let me tell you about the boys' bathroom where I teach. We have 2 toilets there, 6 urinals. Oh, where are we going to put the litter box? Whoops, we don't have the space. And let's not forget, most kids have cell phones. So where is this plethora of photos of this litter box in the bathroom? But no photos? How is this? No high school kid thought, I'm going to get all kinds of attention showing this litter box in the Dickinson High bathroom. Nah, couldn't be that there are no litter boxes in the Dickinson High School. And it turns out that Dickinson was pretty tame after all. The Fargo, West Fargo, Moorhead area, so let me just explain that. Fargo is North Dakota's biggest city. West Fargo is a city west of Fargo. Surprise, guess where it got its name. At one time they were actually distinct cities, but now if you're driving, you don't know when you jump from one to the other, because they've both grown so much. Heck, I could have had a great job in West Fargo this coming year if I wanted it. Because they are looking for so many teachers. And then Moorhead is in Minnesota, but it's right across the Red River from Fargo. And other than the fact that there's a river in the way, you don't know that, oops, I've crossed state lines and I'm in a different city, because they're all 3 so close together. So that's why this article bloops them all together. Sadly, this article is behind a paywall. I live in North Dakota, so I have much easier access to back copies of the Fargo forum than most of you probably do. So I'm sorry. If you know ways to get around paywalls, go ahead and do that. I'm not going to encourage it, though. So anyway, Fargo, so we're talking Fargo right now. Fargo school board member Jennifer Benson told the Fargo Forum that a student told her that some schools have litter boxes in restrooms for students who identify as furries. Now, I posted below her extensive selection of photos and documented schools. Oh, that's right, she doesn't have any. And that's a good point. Maybe the obvious answer is that there aren't any. But as Ms. Benson says, the students I talk to say furries are everywhere. They are in all of our schools. Furries wear collars, tails, headband ears, leashes, and some hiss and bark. In one of my conversations this afternoon, a student did inform me there are now litter boxes in Moorhead school restrooms. And this was convenient after she ID'd 2 Fargo middle schools. Again, without photo evidence or evidence of any kind. So, is she evidence, even if she has no photos? Well, Steve Wyatt, who's a resident of Fargo, made sure to tell all Fargo school board members about this. I want answers to these questions ASAP. I am willing to take this a lot farther than... I'm trying to read my own handwriting. Than this email. I've heard that all they do is lick themselves and meow during class. I'd suggest you look into this immediately because I am, and there's going to be a storm coming your way. So, Fargo School Board member Seth Holden did have some reason to offer. Let's call it reason. Sounds to me like a made-up problem. Another spitballing attempt by those who want to dismantle public education to help push the narrative that we're failing our kids. Chalk it up with CRT, critical race theory, transgender bathrooms, transgender athletes, Pledge of Allegiance. And as I'll get into a little bit later, he might be more right than he thinks he is. These people will stop at nothing until every dollar that goes into public education is siphoned off and goes to private schools and homeschooling and voucher systems so they can indoctrinate their kids and the rest of us have to suffer the consequences. Okay, so if you've followed this channel, you know that I am a public school teacher. I don't know. I guess I didn't take the class on brainwashing when I was in college. You know what I would love for my kids to walk out of my classroom is to be able to think for themselves and be able to, base it on evidence, which 2 of the 3 people I've mentioned so far aren't doing. And hey, it's showing up in Bismarck. A Bismarck school spokesperson said, "This is a manifestation of a national news narrative. This is something that's become a widespread story. We haven't had any litter boxes within our schools." Okay, just setting my notes aside for a minute, I just want you to picture the logistics of a human-sized litter box in a high school restroom. "Hey man, what are you doing in the sandbox?" "Oh, it isn't sand, I'm pooping." "Oh, gotta cover it up now, 'cause that's what a cat does." I mean, you don't have to think very hard. It's so ridiculous. It's craziness. So back on the notes now. This is craziness. Show me a single photo of a litter box in a school. I don't mean, oh, we've got a school cat. I mean a litter box for humans. So, okay. So here's some conjecture. But what I'm imagining is a high school kid or middle school kid, somewhere in that age range, heard something, goes home, repeats this rumor that they heard. And then their parent starts repeating it and making a big deal about it. And the kid is like, shoot, Mom, that was just like a rumor. I didn't mean for you to get so worked up. Yeah, they're not ready to do that. They're just going to be like, oh, God, let it go away. So that's high school kids. And this nonsense is being treated as truth. And let's be real here. These people are victims. They're treating their assertions as truth and evidence be damned. One photo, come on, but it doesn't exist. But they're in a climate where they're ready to believe it. So I just had to think, okay, what the hell is going on? Why is this showing up? Not just in North Dakota, this has shown up all over the country. Especially, well, let's not go especially. Let's just go, it's been showing up all over the country. And I know I've mentioned it before on Pens in Use on this very channel. So why are people believing it? Why now? Well, let's think about it. And there's two possible explanations I can come up with, but both deal with the same topic. The LGBT community. Specifically, the T part of the LGBT. Right now, trans people are the new bogeyman. We are seeing laws passed to discriminate. We can't discriminate, but it's just no longer socially acceptable, except among the really extreme, to discriminate based on race or sexual orientation. But hey, let's go get them trans kids. So my suspicion is it started as some kind of commentary on the trans issue. Whether originated by the right wing as just something extreme to show where this is all headed, or something on the left wing to show how ridiculous the bathroom thing is. I don't know, but somewhere along the line, people took it seriously. And yeah, if you're a writer of satire, I'm not, but if you are, that's a danger you run when you write satires, that people will take it seriously. I'm thinking of the guy, I forgot his name because I didn't write it in my notes, who talked about the solution for the problems of Irish famine is cooking Irish babies. And people taking him seriously. So, for those of you who don't know, which, until probably a year or two ago, this would have included me, furry is a subsection of other types of dress-up like drag, or drag is different from trans, by the way. Drag or cosplay. Science fiction conventions will be full of people dressed as Klingons, Starfleet officers, Doctor Who, James Holden, or whatever else. They act the role and then take it off. So, a big difference between furry and being trans or being, anything in LGBT is that it's something you take on or off. Trans is intrinsic. Scientists have seen actual differences in the brain. If you're trans, you're trans. You don't take it off. Now, you might be able to cover it up. You might be able to pretend you're not. But you can't take it off. So furries are not a good comparison. You'll hear the logic of some people, well, I self-identify as an attack helicopter. No, you don't. You clearly don't get it. So, but I think that's the kind of thought that this comparison is counting on. Now, just lately, I've been seeing a lot of Daily Wire advertising on YouTube, and I am not in their market. One was a "What is a woman?" video, popularized because some politicians asked Ketanji Brown Jackson this during her confirmation hearings for the Supreme Court, like it was some kind of a gotcha. And the reality, whether we like to admit it or not, is that gender and sex are messy. There are people out there with two X chromosomes who are walking around with a penis and testicles between their legs. Through biology. And the exact opposite is true. And these people do not know their chromosome situation unless by some chance their chromosomes are investigated for whatever reason. Gender, sex, and sexual orientation are gray. They are complicated and there's lots of overlap. And speaking personally, I don't care. I know what I like. My dress sense is comfort. So, if I'm not dressed up for school, my look is middle-aged slob. I'm attracted to what I'm attracted to. And honestly, I like being single. Last summer, I spent a week staying in the house with a gay man. I don't think any of you would be surprised to learn that absolutely nothing happened, because neither of us were interested. And most people aren't surprised. If you're a woman, you could safely stay in my house. Unless, of course, you're over by invitation for the other thing, but let's not go there. Now, admittedly, my house isn't comfortable, but nothing will happen unless you and I plan on something happening. So the fear-mongering over trans people is just ridiculous, but it is a useful tool, and it's always useful to have an other to use for fear. It's been race, it's been religion, it's been sexual orientation. Right now it's trans. My philosophy on life is just relax, enjoy your life, enjoy your friends and family, and if someone else is attracted to or interested in or feels things that are different from you, so what? I'm not a furry, but if I ever become one, we all know what animal I would choose. You don't have to like it or understand it. Just, if it doesn't hurt anybody, whatever. Let it be. As long as all partners are free to choose, go nuts. So going back to the furry thing, sure, use critical thinking, don't threaten people, but more importantly, just live and let live. And enjoy life. Maybe do something good for your fellow humans from time to time. That's all that really matters. Worrying about made-up issues or what somebody else is doing in the bedroom that you don't like, who cares? Doesn't affect you. As long as nobody's getting hurt, doesn't matter. So, again, just enjoy life and try not to drive in the whiteout that you just saw. Just some little North Dakota advice there.